The harvest of gratitude. In a quiet valley surrounded by rolling hills and flowing rivers, there lived a humble farmer named Ravi. He was known throughout the village for the richness of his harvests, not because of the quantity of the crops he grew, but because of the abundance of joy and gratitude he shared with everyone around him. Ravi's farm wasn't large, nor was it particularly grand. His fields were modest, and he worked tirelessly through the seasons, tending to his crops with care and devotion. The village knew that while others grew vast fields of wheat or rice, Ravi's small plots were always full of life, vibrant with the green of his plants and the golden hues of his harvests. One year, as the harvest season approached, a severe drought had struck the village. The river that provided water to the fields had dried up, and the rains were few and far between. Many of the farmers were worried, the fields were parched, and the crops were struggling. They feared a meager harvest that would not feed their families through the winter. But Ravi, as always, worked with a calm spirit. While the other farmers fretted, he rose each morning with a heart full of gratitude. He believed that no matter the circumstances, he had reason to be thankful for every moment, every breath, and every seed he planted. Even in times of scarcity, Ravi would say, "There is something to be grateful for, whether it's the sun, the earth, or the strength in our hands." His neighbors were puzzled by his attitude. "Ravi, how can you be so calm when the land is so dry?" one of them asked. "Look at your crops, they barely seem to be growing. The harvest this year will be small, if at all. How can you remain so content?" Ravi smiled gently, wiping the sweat from his brow as he worked in his field. "It's true that the drought has made this year's harvest uncertain," he said. "But I am still grateful. I am thankful for every seed that grew, every sprout that emerged, and every day that the sun shines." Gratitude doesn't depend on abundance, it depends on the heart's ability to appreciate what it has. As the weeks passed, the drought continued to take its toll. The other farmers became increasingly worried, their hearts heavy with fear about what the season's harvest would bring. But Ravi kept working in his fields, tending to his crops, even if they seemed small and fragile. One morning, the villagers gathered together in the town square to share their concerns. "This year's harvest will be meager," one farmer said. "We may not have enough to feed our families." The village elders nodded somberly, aware of the hard work and worry that had filled the hearts of their people. But when Ravi arrived, his face was calm, and he greeted everyone with a gentle smile. "I know this has been a difficult year for us all," Ravi said to the crowd. "But no matter how small the harvest, we must remember that even the smallest grain is a gift. It is a reminder that we have enough, and that enough is truly abundant if we have gratitude in our hearts." The villagers listened, but some still felt uneasy. "But how can you be so sure?" one of them asked. "How can you say we will have enough when we see so little growth?" Ravi knelt down in the field before the crowd, picking up a single grain of wheat that had fallen from the stalks. He held it in his hand and looked around at the gathering. "This grain, though small, represents the whole of this crop," he said. "It is a part of the earth, of the sun, of the rain, every element that brought it into being. This grain has nourished me, and it will nourish others. It is enough." The crowd was silent for a moment, and then one of the villagers spoke. "Ravi, you have always been different. You look at what you have, not at what you lack. You are right, this grain, this single part of the harvest, is enough." With that, the villagers returned to their farms, each one considering Ravi's words. Though the drought had taken its toll, they began to see their own harvests with new eyes. They started to focus on the abundance they still had, the grains of rice, the handful of vegetables, the fruits that still clung to the branches. They, too, began to feel grateful for the small blessings. The day of the harvest finally came, and while the fields were smaller than usual, the crops that had grown were of the highest quality. The grain was golden, the vegetables vibrant, and the fruit sweet. Ravi's harvest, though modest, was rich in its own way. And when he gathered his produce, he did so with deep gratitude, offering thanks for every single grain. As the villagers saw the richness in Ravi's harvest, they realized that the abundance they had been seeking was not always in the quantity of things, but in the quality of their hearts. Ravi had shown them that when you live with gratitude, even the smallest harvest feels like a bounty. That year, the village celebrated their harvest with a feast. It wasn't a grand banquet, but a simple meal shared by all. And as they ate, they expressed their thanks for the land, the crops, and for each other. Ravi's words had left a lasting impact on their hearts. It wasn't the quantity of what they had that mattered, but the gratitude with which they received it. The next year, as the fields flourished once more, the villagers worked together with hearts full of gratitude, knowing that their true wealth lay not in the abundance of their harvests, but in the appreciation of life's gifts, both large and small. And Ravi, the farmer who had shown him the way, continued to work in his field, content with every grain, knowing that the harvest of gratitude was the richest of all. Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to give it a like, share it with others who might benefit, and subscribe to the channel for more valuable content like this. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.